Some cars, they're just cars. But then there are the legends. And the Chevrolet Corvette, it's more than just a car. It's really the main character in this wild 70-year story of the American sports car. And it's a story packed with reinvention, rivalry, and revolution. So let's dive into this incredible journey.
All right, let's head back in time. The year is 1953. Post-war America is feeling good, full of optimism, and Chevy just nails that feeling with this, the very first Corvette. They sold it as a dream car, a super stylish roadster for people who just wanted to have fun. And look, the styling was sensational, but under that fiberglass skin, let's just say the performance was more about enjoying the scenery than winning any races. But that was about to change.
So, if you look at the specs for that original C1, you can see the cool ideas. I mean, a fiberglass body was revolutionary. It made the car really lightweight. But under the hood, you had this blue flame 6-cylinder engine, and it only made about 150 horsepower. So yeah, it looked fast, but it wasn't a real performance machine. Not yet, anyway.
Okay, to really get a sense of just how wild this evolution is, check this out. It went from a 150 horsepower 6-cylinder engine to a nearly 500 horsepower V8 in its standard base form. That's more than 3 times the power. So what on earth happened in between? How did this stylish little cruiser become a fire-breathing supercar? Well, it all started with the need for speed.
So the Corvette's first big problem was pretty simple. It needed to back up its good looks. It needed some real power. It needed a V8 heart to become the legend it was meant to be.
And man, they did not waste any time. This timeline shows you just how fast things changed. In '55, boom, the V8 arrives, finally giving the Corvette some real muscle. Just 2 years later, you get ramjet fuel injection. That's basically race car tech for the street, and it hits that magic number of 1 horsepower per cubic inch. A huge deal. Then in '63, the C2 Stingray adds handling to the horsepower with a whole new suspension. And then in '65, the big block V8 shows up, and the horsepower wars, they were officially on.
But the C2 wasn't just about power. It was an absolute work of art. It was inspired by this Mako Shark concept car, and it gave us the first ever Corvette coupe, those awesome hidden headlamps, and for 1 year and 1 year only, that incredible split rear window. It was just beautiful, and now it was seriously fast.
So for decades, the Corvette is pretty much sitting on top of the mountain. It's the undisputed king. But then, in the early 90s, a new challenger shows up, a raw, brutal machine that threatened to knock the king right off its throne. And that challenger was the Dodge Viper. While the Corvette had been getting more refined, maybe a little more comfortable, the Viper was a sledgehammer. It was totally stripped down, no compromises, and built for one thing and one thing only: pure, terrifying speed.
This comparison, it just says everything, doesn't it? The Viper had a monstrous V10 engine with 100 more horsepower. The Corvette had helpful things like ABS and traction control. The Viper had nothing. The Corvette had air conditioning and power windows. The Viper had none of that. It didn't even have door handles on the outside. You literally had to unzip the plastic window to get in. This was a massive wake-up call for Chevrolet. They knew they couldn't just stand still. They had to evolve.
So, faced with this beast of a rival at home, Chevrolet didn't just fight back. It went on the attack. The goal wasn't just to be America's best sports car anymore. The new goal was to take on and beat the best supercars from anywhere in the world.
And the C5 generation was that statement, a total redesign. It had a new all-aluminum V8, nearly perfect 50-50 weight balance. It was a world-class performance machine. Then the Z06 model started showing up, just pushing the numbers higher and higher. First to 405 horsepower, then to a bonkers 505 horsepower with that huge 7-liter V8 in the C6. And the peak of that era, the C6 ZR1, a supercharged monster with 638 horsepower that just smashed through the 200-mile-per-hour barrier. Now we're talking truly elite global supercar territory.
The whole game had changed. The standard for American performance was now sky high. Like this quote from Car and Driver shows, American cars were now being seriously compared to the best stuff from Porsche. And the Corvette wasn't just part of that conversation, it was leading it. But all this power created a brand new problem, a fundamental limit that you couldn't just solve with more horsepower.
So the Corvette had basically hit a wall, a physics wall. To get any faster, to truly compete with the next generation of supercars from Europe, it had to make the single most radical change in its entire 66-year history.
I mean, you gotta ask the question, right? After more than 6 decades of success, of building this icon with the engine in the front and the drive wheels in the back, why would you tear up the blueprint and start all over?
And here's your answer, right here. The enemy wasn't another car company anymore. It was physics. With all that power, the traditional front-engine design was hitting a hard limit on traction. You simply can't put that much horsepower to the ground when all the weight is up front. The only way forward was to completely rethink the car and move the engine. And that's where the mid-engine layout comes in. By putting that heavy V8 right behind the driver, you're shifting the car's weight over the rear wheels. That literally pushes the tires down into the pavement, giving you a massive increase in grip. That means better acceleration and handling that's just on a completely different level.
And moving the engine didn't just change how it drove, it totally transformed how it looked. That classic long hood, short rear deck sports car profile? Gone. In its place, you get the short nose and long, powerful rear deck of an exotic supercar. The C8 didn't just drive like a supercar, now it finally looked like one. And that brings us to today. The result of this 70-year journey, of all this constant evolution, is a car that has finally, truly become the ultimate version of itself. Just think about this number for a second. 495 horsepower. Now remember that first car with 150? And this isn't some special edition model, this is the base C8 Corvette. It has finally become that world-beating mid-engine supercar that engineers had been dreaming about for decades.
So when you look back, this 70-year journey is pretty amazing. The Corvette was born as this stylish little dream car, then it found its soul in the roar of a V8. It was forced to get tougher by battling fierce rivals, which pushed it to become a global competitor. And finally, it was completely reborn as a mid-engine American supercar.
You know, it's pretty amazing. A line from the original 1953 brochure says, "Now the designer's dreams have come true." And it's wild to think they were talking about that little 150 horsepower roadster, because that statement has never, ever been more true than it is today.
And so that leaves us with this one big question to think about. After 70 years of changing its engine, its shape, its whole mission in life, what truly defines the Corvette today? Is it the V8 engine? Is it having 2 seats? Or is the car's true identity, its DNA, actually found in that relentless 70-year spirit of reinvention?